Swift 5.10 is available. That means we get a new Xcode version, new iOS, new iPadOS, and everything that comes along with that. In this video, I am going to show you what's new in Swift 5.10 and what you can start using in your projects as soon as you update your Xcode version. Swift 5.10 is a release that's not huge. It has only a couple of new improvements, but these improvements are quite significant and they all relate to Swift concurrency. The first major improvement that Apple has made to Swift concurrency is that strict concurrency checking is now even better. If you already use Swift concurrency strict checking in your projects, you know that you had to enable this in your Xcode's project settings to pass a compiler flag that tells the compiler to be very, very strict about how it checks your code for data safety. If you've managed to resolve all the warnings related to your data races, to how you're using sendability and all these things, then Swift 5.10 might actually flag a couple of new issues for you. That's no big deal because it's not like you did something wrong in the first place, or it's not because Apple changed the rules. It's more that the compiler actually was wrong sometimes about what it didn't flag. So if you're using strict concurrency checking, you're probably going to see a couple of new errors pop up in your project, and that's a great thing because the compiler has gotten better at detecting data races in more complicated scenarios. So if you're a fan of strict concurrency checking, Swift 5.10 is going to be really exciting for you because it's going to make it even easier for you to make sure that your code is free of data races through compile time checks. Now, the second thing that I want to show you from Swift 5.10 is a new proposal that was implemented, SE 412, if I recall correctly. And SE 412 is a proposal that allows you to have strict concurrency checking for global variables. Now imagine you have some global state in one of your apps, and that state is a variable, and you can assign to that variable or mutate properties on the object that is assigned to that variable. Now, if you do this today and you don't have strict concurrency checking enabled, your code might be fine, right? But it's likely that you're going to introduce data races once you start accessing this shared state concurrently. Because you're going to have multiple places in your code look at that shared state, mutate it, or try to read it, and that's a perfect recipe for a data race. Now in Swift 5.10, the compiler under strict concurrency checking can actually see that you're introducing data races on your global state, because it's going to disallow you from having global state that is not either sendable and immutable. So that means you're going to have a let property and the value has got to be sendable. Or if the shared mutable state is isolated to a global actor. Because if it's isolated to a global actor, then that actor is going to make sure that everything is going to be synchronized and free of data races. Now let's say you can't do either of these two things. Let's say you cannot make this a immutable sendable object, and let's say you cannot isolate your property to a global actor. In that case, you can actually say that this property should be non-isolated unsafe, because non-isolated unsafe properties are going to be marked by the compiler as the developer says that they know what they're doing, so we're not going to get involved with that. It's very similar to force unwrapping, right? It's great until it's not. So I would advise you to use non-isolated unsafe only if you really, really have to. And typically that will only be if you're working with legacy code. Another thing that they won't be checking for in this new global variable concurrency checking is if your object is an unchecked sendable, right? So I mentioned before that if a property is immutable and the value is sendable, the compiler is going to allow it. Now, if the property is an unchecked sendable, the compiler will also allow it because it's going to assume that you took care of the sendability yourself. Without any compiler checks, that again is about as good as force unwrapping and should be somewhat of a stopgap solution for you to start working on actual sendability for that given object. Now, these are really the two things that I wanted to tell you about in Swift 5.10 because these are the two most important changes that Apple has made, and as far as I could see, actually the two that really stand out. Of course, there's a lot of smaller fixes as well under the hood in Swift 5.10 that you might not even notice. What's your favorite thing about Swift 5.10? Is there anything that I've missed, anything you were looking forward to? Tell me about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and all these things, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.